Hi, friends. My name is Christie Rice. I am the creative media pastor at Impact580 Church. And today we have two of our favorite church members here. Our Impact family members are here. We're here with Shanequa Miles and Julio Alvarez. And we are here just to have a conversation. So, Shanequa, let's start with you. Tell us about you and who you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
Well, you've already said my name. I'm Shanequa Miles, and I'm a teacher here at Emerson Elementary School. I teach third grade, and that is my passion and my heart, helping children. And I'm a single mother of two beautiful daughters, Asia and Jana Fleetwood. They're the loves of my life. And I enjoy my family with my daughters, and then my Impact 580 family as well. So I'm going to go for my master's eventually, but I haven't started that yet. So.
Ooh, man, you will crush that master's, no doubt about it. Julio, what about you? You tell us about you.
My name is Julio Alvarez. I have lived in Duncan for a vast majority of my life. I am currently a police officer with the Duncan Police Department. I work in the patrol division. And as most of you saw, I'm also a part of the bike patrol team here in Duncan and the special reactions team. I'm the team leader of the bike patrol team, which is super fun. Get to be involved in a lot of community events and get to have that real close interaction with people, because instead of being in a car with a window and a glass bowl, I get to be up in the mix. I've got a wife and three kids. They're 6, 11, and 13. So we have a whole lot of fun. We play lots of softball with them, and we stay super busy. I help coach that team, so it takes up the other 50% of my life.
Yeah,
so I stay super busy doing that.
You're riding a bike or you're at the ball field.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is so great. Okay, thank you both for being here. So today we just want to have a conversation, and we just want to listen to what you have to say, really. We don't want to do a lot of talking. We want to hear what you have to say. Obviously, there's a huge issue that has come up, and it's at the forefront of our culture right now. And it all really started to the surface with the death of George Floyd. And it was awful and tragic. And we're all kind of in this state to like, okay, what do we do now? What do we do? And I think the first place we start is to listen and to hear what you have to say. So Shanequa, I want to start with you. Tell me how you felt when you saw the video of George Floyd or the picture of George Floyd, and tell me how you feel with the Black Lives Matter and the things that we're doing. Just give us your thoughts and your feelings for today.
Well, first of all, I'd like to give an honor to God for having us all here together. And I'd like to say thank you, Officer Julio, for your service. And I'd just like to say that I was devastated with the news of George Floyd and heartbroken, and thankful that I live in a community where we can feel safe and feel like that, like that won't happen in Duncan, and feel like we can all come together and show each other that and give each other the reassurance that that won't happen. So I was heartbroken, but yet in Duncan, I don't feel like that would happen here in Duncan. And kids had as well, and I've raised them in a positive voice towards law enforcement. And so I didn't feel like we were personally being affected by that, but I did feel heartbroken and sorry for those that were affected by that event.
Okay. So Julio, obviously you saw the pictures too. You see the man on the ground and you see the man with his knee in his neck. We know that it doesn't represent every police officer, but certainly now it's at the forefront of y'all's mind, and I know you're discussing and you're talking with your team. Tell us how you're feeling right now today and feeling about the whole.
Well, it's kind of a crazy deal. Whenever I first saw it, I just happened to see just a picture of it, and I really didn't. I really don't read into that stuff at all. I try not to read any of it and just stay away from it. There's so much negativity in the world, and then just another incident. But as I started to see more headlines, I was like, well, it's kind of curious. I'm kind of interested in what's going on. I saw the first clip, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of threw me back a little bit, and I was like, well, wait a second, what's going on here? This doesn't really make sense to me. I started reading a little bit of what happened, and then I literally turned it on for what was maybe 5 to 7 seconds. And those 5 to 7 seconds, I had to turn it off. I couldn't take it no more. Like you said, it affects all of us, but I can promise you that those of us that sign up to do this job, that truly have it in our heart, it's a calling. We don't like that. We don't like it at all. It's ugly. It's insensitive. It's immoral. And it really disgusts me down to the soul to really think that we took those moments for granted, because whenever it's one of us, it's all of us. Even though we're not all doing that, we all represent each other. I was told a long time ago, the name on your shirt represents your family. The badge that you wear represents all of us. We talk about the thin blue line a lot. We talk about Blue Lives Matter. We talk about the blue family, blue bloods. It's a sense of camaraderie that you can't really tie into anything else. We rely on each other to survive, but on the other hand, we also rely on each other to do the right thing, to ensure that we're all doing the right thing. We're human. We make mistakes. We do things we shouldn't do sometimes. And I speak for all of us. We've all done it. But on the other hand, I rely on my buddy next to me to keep a cool head whenever I can't, and tell me to go sit down and go take a breath. And I've had that happen before. That's not uncommon. But it sure was hard to watch that video. And I'll be honest with you, I still haven't watched the whole thing because I just can't. It's just not something I want to do. I think I ended up watching about 1 minute and 30 seconds of it, and I said, I've had enough. This is awful. So that kind of gives you a little insight. And I can tell you, we had a long discussion at training last Thursday with some of our special reaction team guys, and we're just like, man, I just can't fathom any of our guys ever doing something like this. It's crazy to think, but yeah, so in a sense, it's hard to watch, but in a sense, it's good because, you got to find the good and the bad, unfortunately. And the good and the bad is that our department is learning from this. We are talking about it. This is a discussion we're having on a daily basis. We had a training. I hosted a training last Thursday, and I had a teach last Thursday. And this is a major topic of discussion. What that day is use of force and how we should use force in the eyes of the public. Granted, we have a job to do, and we have to do that job, but we also have to keep in mind that public perception is the way we do business anymore. So it's super important that we keep that in mind.
I find it really encouraging that you saw the video and your department saw the video and y'all took an action step and said, okay, we need to come together and we really need to talk about this because this is really going to affect our community. Shanequa, I know I've heard from friends that this George Floyd and everything that has come up has brought up the issue of race all over again. And there was a lot of misconception really that race was done. And, Martin Luther King, he did everything we needed to do and we're all equal. But the stories we're hearing now is that nope, not everybody feels like they're being treated equally, not now. And so I just wondered if you are feeling that, if your community is feeling that, are you feeling like you're equal? Have there been instances, even in this great town of Duncan that we love, is there an instance that you felt, oh, racism is still alive here? Or can you speak to that at all, about how you feel about that and the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that we need to know? And if you could say anything to people listening, what would you say with that?
I would say that we need to reach out to our youth and their perception of what's going on. And a lot of our youth do feel unsafe right now in regards to law enforcement, and it is up to us to change that. I've heard from individuals that are not eager to get their license even to drive out of fear of, what might happen if they're pulled over. And that's just terrible that they feel that way. And as a community, we need to come together, and we have been and continue to, and show the young people and show everyone that we are here for one another. We're supporting one another, and that they can feel safe in our own community. And we need to just work for equality and justice in not only law enforcement, but also just employment and education in various aspects of our lives. I feel like it's still a battle that we have not won yet.
Yeah. Okay. So Julio, if you could say something, what do you want? I want to know what you guys want us to know. We love hearing how you feel. We need to know how you feel. But if you could speak like to a captive audience, Julio, what do you want people to know about you and about the police force, even about who you are as a person and racism that you've seen or have you experienced. What do you want us to know that maybe we don't know? Because I think we're all in a place where we want to learn and hear. So what do you want us to know?
Man, I can tell you that as a whole, locally, our officers here feel like they're some of the best around. I've worked at Duncan Police Department for 12 and a half years, and I've learned a lot. I can tell you that it seems like our area of the world has really taken hold of this movement, and we understand the equality issues that are out there. We understand that there's socioeconomic issues, race issues, and we hate that it has played such a major role in our lives. We don't like it. I mean, I can tell you, I may be the only Hispanic officer at Duncan, but those guys are my brothers. They take care of me. I take care of them. There's never been an issue that I know of. I mean, we've spent time walking some of the streets, walking some of the apartment complex just to do it, just to go contact people, especially this time of year when people are cooking out. If you feel like you're being treated wrong, by all means, come talk to us about it. We're not the type that's not going to learn from our mistakes. We're not the type that's going to just shut you out just because you're upset. Many a times we've had people come to the police department and say, hey, he's not doing things that he should be doing. And it gets brought to our attention. Our administration is really good about listening to the public. Public perception is the way we do business. Even though it's not always the best method, it is the way it is, and that's the way it has to be done. So when we train people, I train officers. We teach them, hey, there's a right, there's a wrong, and there's a way in the middle. And you've got to find that middle ground somewhere to ensure that you're doing your job right and the best of your ability. So ultimately, what I want anyone to grasp from this is, at Duncan Police Department, in Duncan, in Stevens County, we're teaching officers to do what's best for everyone, not just what the letter of the law says, not just what solves the situation right now. Let's think about people and how they need to live their lives and how it's going to affect their lives. Granted, we say it all the time, if you're jail eligible and that's going to solve the problem. Unfortunately, that's the route we have to go sometimes. But on the other hand, if we can counsel people on the street, counsel people in their homes, and try to figure out a way that's a better method for right now, that's what we like doing. That's what we prefer doing.
Yeah.
Putting people in jail doesn't solve problems. It creates financial hardship. It creates job problems. So we try to avoid it whenever possible. Granted, that's not always the case.
Right.
But just know that we're doing what we can in order to ensure that our community can get along, our community can move on from this, and we can do better.
That is really great. All right. Go ahead, Shanequa, go.
If I may, I would like to say something about that, and I agree. And I have a story that kind of exemplifies that. Officers are very, very kind and helpful, and not out to get you per se, So I had a flat tire one day, and an officer, it was an Oklahoma Highway patrolman, pulled over to assist. And that gentleman even took my kids to school, both my daughters to school, and then came back and helped me with a flat tire and made sure I made it to the tire place okay. And I mean, to me, that was just unheard of. And my kids felt safe. They were starstruck and in awe that they get to ride, that they got the opportunity to ride to school with an officer. And it was just an amazing experience. And God bless that officer for helping me during that time. And there are many other occasions that I can think of, like Emerson, for example, does cookies with cops and things like that. And that's what we need, is more positive interactions with the police and our community. So I think things like that and stories like mine will help the community know that y'all are here for us, and we can feel safe in our community.